Hey, if you have legal matters that involve firearms, then you need to call Attorney John Dillon. If you have questions about red flag laws, gun registration, gun transportation, or maybe you need to know that your guns are California compliant, call our trusted firearms attorney, John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun laws. Call 760-642-7150, or you can visit his website at dillonlawgp.com.
Hey, this Saturday.
Got a full house.
Oh, yeah, we got a full house. Before we get cranking, though, this Saturday, everybody, grand opening for American Shooters, brand new gun shop out in El Cajon. It's January 15th, this Saturday, pretty much all day, 10 to like 2, something like that. There'll be some food and drinks and guns and ammo, and San Diego County Gun Owners is going to have a booth out there, and you'll see all kinds of like-minded, cool people. So come on out. It's in El Cajon on Graves over by the Greek chicken place off the 67. And that's American Shooters. For more information on that, really for more information on that, what you should do is sign up for your San Diego County Gun Owners weekly email, because we're going to send out an announcement on that. And that's Mark's place.
Right, Mark Halcon.
Yep, he's one of our sponsors.
And
so
what time on Saturday?
All day. I think we're going to kick things off at 10, but 10 to like 2, 3, something like that. So all day, whatever you're doing, if you're going to Bed Bath & Beyond, if there's time, I don't know if there'll be time, but if you're going on Saturday to Bed Bath & Beyond, make time to come to American Shooters.
Or maybe Antonelli's, which is right over there.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
You ever been to Antonelli's?
Yeah, have I?
It's right there, dude.
There's like a lot of good places. There's that breakfast spot right there.
Cafe 67.
The Cafe 67.
Yeah.
The breakfast house is the breakfast spot that's right there.
The breakfast house.
Yeah.
And then the Greek chicken
place.
The
ranch house.
Ranch house is pretty good, yeah. We should just do a food tour.
Yeah, why don't we just do a food tour?
Every
East County breakfast.
Yeah. The East County breakfast tour.
Yeah, there we go. We could start our own show.
Yeah. So we got a big full house. Action Jackson, you're back. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Did you miss us?
Very much.
All right, cool. We missed you too. And then we have Amy Dillon. How are you?
I'm good. Glad to be back.
Fantastic. And Shakey Dave.
What's up? Hey, how you doing?
Good. Of course, Joe.
Of course, Joe.
Of course, Joe.
and
the whole crew.
And the whole crew. We have Melissa coming up. We have a really cool guest later in the show. It's really a pretty full show. We got a lot going on. NRA, you may have seen San Diego County Gun Owners on KUSI talking about how the NRA filed a lawsuit that has to do with gun owners' privacy.
Really?
Yeah, the
NRA.
I know, the NRA. You have to give all this information when you register a gun in California. Really personal information, like your social security number, and your address, and and okay, fine, we have to give that to the government in order to exercise our right to keep and bear arms. Well, they just passed a law, California, that allows them to take that information and pretty much give it to just about anybody.
Really?
Yeah, really what it's designed to do, or what they say it's designed to do, is they want to give that information to universities so that they can study the gun violence, basically, is what they're saying.
Yeah, but that opens it up to any, can I say left-wing, any anti-gun organization that says they're studying gun violence.
Anybody, any anti-gun, any right-wing, left-wing, anybody that wants that information, it pretty much opens it up. Say you're a criminal and you want to go to somebody's house, you want to make sure that you can steal a gun there. All right, well, first let's check the database and see who does and doesn't have a gun.
It's surprising, too, that the NRA brought that. I mean, I would have thought that there were more local groups maybe that would have been running, the ones that typically go after lawsuits and do that kind of thing. Because you would think that would be a big deal out here in California.
I know FPC was looking at it. We were looking at it. I honestly don't have like the inside scoop as to why the NRA did it as opposed to other. I think they might have just beat everybody to the punch, but in any case, we're all on the same team, and I invite them into the fight. It's about time they filed another lawsuit out here.
Well, no, and it's great because those bad ideas start here and they spread like a cancer. So it's good that they jumped in here. Yeah.
So very, very happy about that. Of course, it's going to take millions of dollars and many, many years, just like every lawsuit. But support the groups that are supporting you. And then we talked a couple of weeks ago about Gavin Newsom saying, hey, we want to basically cut and paste that abortion law in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
but apply it against gun owners.
Right.
You know, so basically, so that people can sue gun manufacturers. Yeah, not for like, you know, hey, you made this gun improperly or you made it unsafe.
Right.
You know,
You just made it.
yeah, you were negligent.
Right.
You just made it, and some criminal decided to use it. You know, 100,000 people bought this gun and used it to defend themselves. One person bought that gun and used it to, you know, rob a bank. Therefore, we get to sue the manufacturer out of existence. Now, the reason for this is absolutely they're not pure of heart at all. This isn't you know, the same as, well, gee, you can sue a car manufacturer. You know, this isn't there's no equivalent. This is purely trying to bully gun manufacturers out of existence, how to try to bankrupt
Well,
them.
they're just going to see if it'll stick. That's all.
Yeah,
They don't know. They just, well, let's throw this against the wall and see what happens.
and it is illegal. There are laws against this already.
Sure.
So weren't you saying, Michael, though, you were saying he was basing that on the ruling from the Texas abortion case, which I thought you were saying last week, because I'm not exactly clear on that ruling, but you were saying that the ruling on that case is not what he's trying to utilize, or is not valid, I guess, to utilize the way he's trying to utilize it.
Yeah,
Was that true?
I don't think so, because basically, you know, it's apples and oranges. You know, he's taking this abortion law in Texas, and he's using it so that victims of a crime can sue a gun manufacturer. You know, who's the manufacturer? There's not an abortion manufacturer.
Mm-mm.
You know, it's not. It's just apples and oranges. They're basically saying, hey, you know, we just want to. And originally, I thought they were just trying to make a point, but they've actually put this law in writing, and they're proposing it. So Sacramento is probably going to approve this thing. It's probably going to pass, just like all the other anti-gun laws. But it doesn't quite, you know, match up. It doesn't really make any sense.
Well, it's like you said a few minutes ago, though, they probably understand that perfectly, but they know it's going to be years, you know, before that gets challenged. It goes through the court system, and anything happens about it. And in the meantime, it's in effect, right? Just like a lot of the gun laws.
Unless we get an injunction, and it's really, you know, I think it's honestly they're running out of ideas. They've enacted so many horrible gun laws in California that they're running out of ideas that even, you know, are in the realm of sane. You know,
throwing it against the wall to see if it'll stick.
Exactly.
Well, and that's an old idea, though, right? Because that's been tried before to be able to sue gun manufacturers. And I thought Congress passed a law a while ago that they're trying to get overturned now, right? That protects gun manufacturers from that kind of lawsuit when people misuse their products, I guess. Is the way to say it.
Yeah. In fact, this year at Gun Prom, if you were at Gun Prom, we gave a Lifetime Achievement Award to an attorney here locally in San Diego who was a part of that case. Basically, you know, it comes down to negligence. If a company, if a manufacturer makes a product and they made it so that when you're using it in, you know, for a regular reason, for the way it was designed, you're not using it in some extreme or weird way, and it's unsafe, you know, it hurts you, something like that. Okay, fine, sue them. They were negligent. But if you're just taking a product that was manufactured and using it improperly, like to commit a crime, it's not the manufacturer's fault.
Nope.
Amy Dillon and Shakey Dave Smith are back in studio. We're going to catch up with them next.
But first, self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone, and there is no guarantee that the justice system will be on your side. Make sure you are protected for the legal battle after your self-defense battle. While you protect your family and property, U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7, 365 days a year with a comprehensive self-defense coverage at an affordable price. Bad guys don't take days off, and neither does our coverage. Listeners get a free t-shirt when you use the code GUNOWNERSRADIO. Sign up today. Go to the uslawshield.com. All right.
So we're back. So Amy Dillon and Shakey Dave, welcome back.
Thank you for having us. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, good to be here.
So yeah, you guys were here a while ago, and none of us could remember, including you guys, how long ago that was. Do you remember, Dave?
Years.
No, it wasn't. We got it narrowed down to a year.
It
but-
was
Maybe
like-
6 months to
Yeah,
a
maybe
year ago.
Yeah, 6 months. You know, time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly.
So
blame it on Parkinson. So
You can't use that as an excuse.
everything.
That has nothing. Memory's supposed to be good with Parkinson.
So in case there was one or two other listeners that couldn't remember that, why don't you guys recap just exactly your background, Dave? And
Who
Amy?
you are, and what you do.
There we go.
Sure. So I'm Amy Dillon. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, firearms instructor. I'm a podcast co-host for the Polite Society podcast powered by the Second Amendment Foundation. I'm also a writer, consultant, brand advocate for multiple brands in the firearms industry. And I'm also more recently, I've taken on the title as TV show producer.
Wow.
And
I'm not busy at all.
yeah, she does all the work. But yeah, I shoot guns and shoot for F1 firearms. A couple of years ago, went to Sweden for the World Rifle Match, and a few years before that, I was homebound and shot my way out with gun therapy, shooting basically my light switches and stuff with laser trainer, and just trying to do more of that to help with my Parkinson's.
So people don't realize because they can't see through radio, but you do have Parkinson's. But when you shoot, your Parkinson's just basically goes away, the shakiness.
Yes, it's I think it's the dopamine. It's just
Right.
what I'm lacking with Parkinson's. Just get a little shot of that.
Interesting.
So and you're able to do that too, because the theme, I guess, this month here is talking to new gun owners. So that's what we wanted to talk, or non-gun owners. I'm sorry, and that's what we wanted to talk to you guys about, at least to start off here, anyway. So, like Amy, and the stuff that you do, being an instructor and then an industry rep and all that stuff. What's your experience lately with interacting with non-gun owners?
Well, I'd say probably in the last 2 years, and of course, anyone who is in the industry knows that there is a big increase in interest in guns and how to shoot, in getting instruction, learning just even how. I had a cousin of mine this morning ask me, "How do I buy a gun? I'm here in San Diego County. I don't know what to do." So I think that because of everything that's happened in the last few years, more people are realizing that it's on them to take their defense into their own hands, and are just looking for, the different things, I guess, that are available, the different tools that are available to them for self-defense, and that includes a firearm.
Well, and it's interesting too, if you're a non-gun owner, if you don't have family members or friends or somebody that's into it, and you're completely not involved, and then you decide, you for some reason want to do it, or you get curious about it or something, it's, it's like, where do you start? Because the things that they've heard, and most of it's so bad. I'm going to talk about women on target here in a couple of segments, and it's all new women that don't shoot or don't have any experience with that, and it's really interesting, seeing some of the reactions or some of the ideas and things like that they have, because they just don't know. And as gun owners, it's a good opportunity to interact with them. And I'll go ahead.
Oh, well, no, well, I think we all have to remember that, I don't know how many years everyone in this room has been using firearms and in practicing and whatnot, but we have to remember
I just started last week.
we have to remember that at one point, we were beginners too. And so anytime I have someone that asks me, I see that they're interested in firearms, I try to remember that they don't know anything. So I can't talk to them about shotgun versus handgun versus rifle, the different intricacies involved when we're talking about, even how to hold a gun, marksmanship, fundamentals and terms. They don't know any of that. So I try to, listen to them at first. And really the number one thing that I ask as an instructor is, what's your purpose for wanting to know? Because then that helps me understand their drive, where they're coming from. And then I can start talking to them about home defense, personal carry, things like that.
Okay. And Dave, do you have experience with that too? Have you run into that lately?
Oh yeah. Well, of course, I'm the shakiest guy in the room most of the time, and then nobody really, comes up to me with starter, hey, what about your firearm experience or anything? So I have to, kind of put it out there and be, just kind of not aggressive, just kind of be out there with it. And, if someone talks to me and, just respond back as, someone that's, just as I'm experienced,
Yeah, Dave's a really great advocate for speaking to people that don't believe people with disabilities can even safely handle firearms.
I shot 125,000 rounds the last 2 years without any mishap, I might add. So, but
All right. Well, yeah, that's a
How many rounds?
great record too. 125,000 rounds over 2 years.
That's a lot of money.
Goodness.
That's my first thought too, Dave.
That's a lot of money.
And
That's why you need a sponsor. Like
That's why he has the
F1
same
and-
shirt on that he had on
that's
last
right.
time we seen him.
and you were talking about, Amy, about introducing the concept of self-defense with non-gun owners. How does that go?
So, it's interesting because I want to say probably 80% of the time when someone asks about using a gun and learning where they can learn to shoot, I've found just in my personal experience that it's because there's been an incident that's happened to that person or an incident has happened to someone they know. And that sparks the interest in talking about self-defense and using a firearm and how that comes into play. And then, of course, that goes into a whole conversation about use of force, justified use of force. And then we talk about how that's different depending on, district, city, state. So it really becomes just a full-blown conversation about guns in general and how it applies legally.
Amy, it feels like to me over the last couple of years, maybe since the beginning of COVID, it feels like self-defense has become the number one reason. Whereas I think there was a lot of people, it just kind of seemed fun, or maybe it was a hobby thing. But I don't know. Is that your experience in the last couple of years? But I'd say, again, since the beginning of COVID, the majority of people who are coming out and learning how to, fire a gun for the first time, it is very purpose driven, and that purpose is self-defense. Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, I agree. I think that, if for someone who's not in the industry, maybe they look at guns as maybe something recreational for target practice, for example. But I think that things that have happened in the last few years, with protests, unrest, all the things we see in the news, and then even just seeing that we cannot rely on the government, people are starting to realize that. And it just starts putting the question in their head, okay, if I'm responsible for myself, what are my options in case A, B, or C happens? And I think that seed gets planted, it's been planted somehow in the last few years for people that maybe, unlike anyone in this room who've already thought about personal responsibility, they start, seeking out answers to, well, how do I buy a gun? And where do I learn to use it safely? How do I even, get my carry permit and other questions? So I have seen that same, I guess what you've seen.
It seems, and Dave, with having Parkinson's, it seems like, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you could almost take the tack of, hey, look, I can do it with Parkinson's.
Yeah.
You don't be intimidated by this. Is that?
Yeah, it's one of these things where, like, I'm defending myself against Parkinson's. Really, that's the way I look at things.
Wow.
And I have an involuntary movement. So everybody from academia, like universities, and that I talk with, and other groups, and nonprofits with Parkinson's foundations and that kind of thing. I'm talking to the whole gamut of people, and they look at me like, it's like it's Greek, So for me, it's just with the Parkinson's, it's amplified, and they just think, maybe I should just be sitting around. I'm one step away from going into a nursing home, basically, if I didn't have, this kind of out. So
You were explaining that to Joe and I in the right before the show. It's really amazing. You were saying that when you practice, you get real still. You get real. Yeah. You don't shake, and it
yeah.
That's amazing.
If I just talk about it, sometimes it steadies me out.
So let me ask you this: did you shoot before you got Parkinson?
That's the number one question. Yes, I grew up in a family that was shooters.
Okay.
As far as hunting,
so you weren't afraid to shoot once you got. I mean, if you'd had Parkinson's first, I doubt you'd gone on to pick up a gun.
Well, I was sitting there in a homebound state, and couldn't walk out to the mailbox, is where I was when I picked up a laser trainer and just started doing it, and I wasn't ready for like live firearm. I didn't think, but then lo and behold, it just steadied out. And then, fast forward a couple of years, and then I met Amy, and things are clicking. So
you and I are actually we're kind of the opposite, Dave. When I pick up a gun and start shooting competitively, that's when I start shaking. So it's kind of the
But it goes, when you say that, then it's the neurological pathways in your brain, and that's what Dave's talking about essentially, that allow you to still handle the gun safely, even though you're not really, it's almost like it's second nature.
You're not thinking about it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. If you've trained enough and have done it so repetitively.
But you guys, that's got to make both of you. You guys are unique in your very very own ways when it comes to gun ownership and shooting. Right. That's got to make you guys really, really important and effective ambassadors to people who've never shot a gun before.
Boy, it's really got to mess up the left when he comes walking up, pulls out a gun, and hits the target. That's a great thing. All right. Hey, does selling your home feel overwhelming? Well, it doesn't have to be that way. With Scott Vinson with Caldwell Banker Royal Realty, Scott Vinson is the perfect guide to help you sell or buy your home. Scott has also been a San Diego County gun owner board member from the start. So if you're moving, let fellow Second Amendment supporter and real estate broker Scott Vinson help you sell your home and find your new home anywhere in the United States. Call him today at 619-948-2459. Tell him you heard about it on Gun Owners Radio. Give Scott a call, 619-948-2459, or go online to scottvinson.com.
So we're talking to competitive shooters, Amy Dillon and Dave Smith, mainly about how to talk to new shooters, and talking a little bit about your background and experiences. Did you guys know Action Jackson before the show today?
I had not, but I'm really glad to meet him.
Yeah. Do you see him? You ever see him on Instagram?
I have.
Yeah. I figured maybe you guys are about the same height. Now that I think.
I haven't heard that one before.
Well, you're a new shooter, aren't you, Jackson?
Yeah, sorta. I've been shooting for like a year and a half by now.
A year and a half is actually in his life. That's not new anymore, is it? That's like
I was gonna say
it's like a quarter of his life right there.
He's all done.
So what's some advice if someone said to you, "Hey, you know what? My coworker, my buddy, my cousin's girlfriend's uncle, whatever, somebody in their life, is maybe on the fence." I honestly, maybe you could weigh in on this before we even go there. Part of me kind of thinks that if someone's anti-gun, like they're anti-gun, not on the fence, not thinking about it, but they're just anti-gun. Okay, and walk away and go find some lower hanging fruit. What do you guys think about that?
I used to think that way myself. In fact, there was a period when I first started in this industry, just getting out of the military, where I had just started doing firearms training, and I was almost embarrassed to tell people that I was a firearms instructor, because when I used to tell, people would ask, "Well, what do you do now that you're not in the military?" I'd say, "Oh, I'm a teacher, essentially." And they'd think that I was referring to me being like a elementary or
kindergarten or whatever
school teacher, and I would say no, I teach gun safety, and I would get the anti-gunner types, completely just shut down. I could tell that it wasn't a topic they were interested in, and I've had some people outright tell me, "Oh, I don't like guns," and I probably shied away from the topic for the first year that I was doing that. But then I thought to myself, why don't I take this make this a teachable moment? So now when I encounter people that, I get the anti-gunner stare, the shutdown, you can tell, I just ask them, well, why don't you like guns? And I start to have a conversation, and I tell people, especially when you're engaging in a conversation with someone who is going to claim being anti-gun, if you're not willing to sit down at the table with them and listen to the reasons why they're anti-gun, then don't expect them to listen to you when you try to tell them why they shouldn't be. So I think just having the willingness to even sit down and talk to someone who claims to be anti-gun is the first step.
There's a what's the saying? They don't care what you know until they know that you care.
Exactly.
Kind of what you're describing.
And I just tell them it's medicinal.
Which is true. That's a fact.
So
That's a fact. Well, and I'd imagine, when I tell people I'm a gun owner or I shoot guns, they're not exactly shocked, right? Oh, gee, another, chubby white guy who, you shoot guns, really? And you drive a Jeep? No kidding. Milwaukee cliche. But when you tell them, I'm sure there's probably like a little bit of a surprise factor as well.
There is, yeah. I've definitely received that reaction before as well. I know you have.
Oh yeah, especially, I mean, we've almost like had denial, on when people see me shaking and see me with firearm shirt, they're it's like they're all about shut down the whole conversation. But
Probably worse when you start walking up to him with a gun in your hand and that thing is flying every which way.
I tried to go to a gun range the other day in the same way. It was like, hey, whoa, where do you think?
Yeah,
you're
can
going?
you hold
But-
that trophy? Can you hold that target?
It's not limited to just one group. But, it's a good starter for her to be there for me, and then at the same time, hey, it is.
Well, and it's good for you
it
too.
is medicinal
Yeah,
for
it
me.
is medicinal. Yeah.
So it's my therapy.
And you guys are competitive shooters. What's coming up in 2022 for you guys?
Oh wait, I have a better one than that.
Oh, all right.
Who's the better shooter?
I wasn't gonna go there. I wasn't gonna cause it.
Yeah, you were. You wanted to know.
I always answer that I am.
And Dave is going to roll with that one, right?
I go with the long shot better, but she's better.
That's smart.
I'm
That's a smart
sorry.
man right
I
there.
just
I
had
love
to do
long
it.
range.
We've had some friendly competition between ourselves before. And you've won a few, so I'll give him
Oh,
that.
oop.
He's
Did
one
you
of
hear that,
few.
Dave? This is live, so you got that on tape.
Hey,
So you're good.
There you go.
Are one of you better at a different plat? Now you say you're better at long distance.
He's great at long range.
Yeah,
Pistol.
you're better.
Oh,
at
you're
pistol?
better at pistol?
Long range pistol is. I grew up shooting long range. So now I'm trying to shoot past like 500 yards with a pistol. I'm shooting like 100 to 500 is what I love to do. So
Wow.
it's not.
With a pistol?
Oh yeah.
500 yards?
If you go on his Instagram at Parkinson Shooter, he's got videos of him shooting long range pistol.
But you should see the pistol.
You and I are not the same. Yeah, really. The pistol. My pistol would have to be about 450 yards long.
Hey, 10
in order
mil.
for me.
10 mil is a great caliber. I'm
Wow.
just saying. So,
That's
Wow.
amazing.
but,
It is.
Well, here's a question: Have you ever been competing with her and you threw it just to let her win?
Oh,
I
he's
would
no.
not want him to do that.
Hey, I don't throw.
You don't have to
anything.
answer
No.
that.
I don't throw anything.
No.
Luckily, we've been partners in these, like team matches.
Ah.
I haven't really had to shoot against her, so it's always benefited
Keep
me.
it that way. It'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's coming up in 2022? What do you guys? Because I know competitions of I don't know. I think COVID kind of dried some of these competitions up, didn't they?
There's a lot of local ranges that have been still putting on competitions. We've been traveling a lot lately, so we didn't shoot all year any competitions
shot.
except for the team match.
Yeah, team
But
match.
yeah, we haven't set a schedule. We haven't looked at the 2022 schedule for us yet because we're also still planning a gun therapy tour.
What does that look like? What's a gun therapy tour?
It's making people aware that there's a therapy out there that involves guns,
hmm
and whoever, whether it's you're just lazy. I mean, it fixes that too. Just get out there and shoot and enjoy, dopamine, which
Yes.
the dopamine release I get. So,
Yeah, we'll be partnering with
fascinating.
ranges, and we're trying to do like different parts of the country, and then just hit up different cities while we're in that area. So we're
And
we're setting that up
so
for this
Reach
year.
out to anybody, or specifically people with Parkinson's, or
It's specifically, we would like to see people with Parkinson's come out to these events because we are trying to collect medical data to support the clinical research and put gun therapy consistent with things like Boxing for Parkinson's, which is an official program with the Parkinson's Foundation, and also like cycling. We want it to be a recognized medical therapy that shooting recreationally does help someone with a neurological disorder.
wow, that's really fascinating.
we have a laser shot simulator, and it keeps a track on everybody's performance and everything. So laser shot simulator, and it's real safe, safety trainer type situation.
Yeah, so for someone who has never shot a gun before, we have non-live fire, like the laser trainer that he's talking about, and laser shot sponsors.
Have you ever had anybody that has Parkinson's shoot and it didn't correct the problem?
Well,
or
I wouldn't say the didn't correct it, but it's just going out there and having fun with it, and whether your skill is to here or there, no matter what type of shooter you are, if you're a Parkinson shooter,
right,
or you're a non-Parkinson shooter, you're always trying to get to that next level, and you just need to have fun with it.
Right. Well, I was just thinking, if somebody had Parkinson and you said, "Look, when I fire it, I goes totally, I'm just solid."
Yeah.
And then he tries it or she tries it and it doesn't work.
We haven't run into someone who we've spoken to say that they haven't shot, a gun before. And that has Parkinson's that wants to learn, but we're open to that.
That would be the search. That would be the search.
Yes, but we've had a lot of people because Dave's with him having Parkinson's, we've had people with Parkinson's that have also shot guns or used to shoot guns reach out to him and just want to have a conversation with him about it. But we haven't encountered anyone yet that has Parkinson's, has never shot before, but wants to learn. And so that's kind of where I come in, because teaching someone with a disability, of course we want to adapt, to whatever their whatever challenges they have and teach them, because just because someone has a disability, whether it's Parkinson's or whatever else, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't they should be barred from learning.
They should at least try.
Exactly.
Well, I was just wondering if, he's unique in the fact that he has Parkinson, he fires, and he goes normal. What about a person that used to be a shooter, gets Parkinson, tries shooting, and still can't shoot because of the Parkinson? That was kind of the route I was looking.
I would be interested to hear if there is someone out there like that, and if they are, we have an email, info@guntherapy.org, that if they want to reach us and to talk about some of those issues,
because it's all about the doing the medical aspect of it, the studies, talking to as many people as you possibly can talk to, that either has Parkinson's or what have you, because I think it's all about the research. It takes forever.
It is, yes.
Well, I guess it sounds like correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. I was kind of listening in on your conversation earlier, but it sounds like it has to do with the release of dopamine. Right. So, and I think, I'm not a scientist. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, but I think you have to enjoy what you're doing in order for dopamine to be released. Yeah. So if you don't like shooting guns, it's probably not going to do much for you. But if you do like shooting guns, and you can get that dopamine release, it sounds like it'd be real effective.
But but it sounds like you have to have shot first, gotten Parkinson, and see if it'll correct it.
Not necessarily, I don't think, but
I thought I'd throw it out there anyway.
I want to test the theory, so everybody just come out and shoot.
Dave Stahl and I are going to work on this more in the lab and see what we can come up.
Yeah. By the way, Dave, get your own show. Push that guy out of the way. You'll be fine. All right, change the page here.
Melissa is next with her review of the Incognito Wear.
Just say lion and lamb. That's fine.
Lion and lamb.
Yeah.
Concealment top for women.
Hey, folks, most companies waste a lot of money in marketing. The reason why is because they don't have a clear message. You're wasting money on websites, social media, and your advertising if you don't have a clear, easy-to-understand message. Sage Tree gets it. Since 2005, Sage Tree has been helping companies clarify their message and connect with customers. Connect them today and learn about their proven system to help you get a better return on your investment from your marketing dollar. Go to sagetree.com and learn a whole lot more.
All right.
All right. Well, hello, men. Hi, Jackson.
Hello, men.
I have something for the ladies today that I am reviewing, and this is actually very nice. I really like it. And I'm using Amy, my friend Amy here, as the model for my concealment top that I'm reviewing from Incognito Wear. This is the concealment top called the Lion and Lamb. It's super soft. Can you stand up, Amy? There we go. Super soft. Now, this has 3/4 dolman sleeves, so it's loose. You can wear it during the summertime or wintertime. comes in 2 layers. There's a tank top with slits. Can you show them the slits? And this is meant for a crossbody appendix holstering. So the idea of this is that it's really baggy in the front. It has that cross pattern, you know, it lays really nicely. She can't print. You can't see the printing of a gun because it's just nice and flowy and baggy. I forgot my banana. I did. I forgot the banana to stick in her holster. But
I hate it when I forget my banana.
I know. It's a shame. So, yeah, she can. Did you put something in there? Okay. So there's her holster that she's holding. It's meant to stick out of the hole. Now, if she were to draw a right hand, that material is going to be covering the gun. And then when she is ready to, when she's ready to pull, she's going to pull on crossbody. So, in fact, just leave it alone. Stick your hand in there. So she doesn't really look like she's doing anything. She probably look like she's scratching her stomach or something. I don't know. But, it's very inconspicuous. So you can't tell. Yeah, it's ambidextrous. So it's like right hand, left hand drawers. So it works both ways. It does not work for me because I do not carry appendix. I carry 2 3 o'clock. So I would have to generally just lift up the shirt like normal shirts just to draw, which is fine. But even if I still did that, this shirt, how baggy it is and how flowy it is, it totally doesn't let anything print. So it's super stretchy, made in the USA, super soft, right? What do you think about this?
I like it. Yeah, it's comfortable. It's very comfortable to wear. I like that it's a breathable fabric, and I appreciate that. If I were carrying right now, I do feel that the holster is it's in a position where I can safely access the gun when I needed it, if I needed it. But I also can tell that it wouldn't print. So I'm not worried about printing. I'm not worried about someone knowing that I'm carrying. And it's very stylish. I feel like you could wear this in all seasons.
You know what you could do too? It looks good with jeans. It looks good with leggings and dress pants.
Melissa, you were saying that this is intended for appendix carry. Is there enough room in there? Could you make this work, say, if you carried just forward of the hip, just forward to 3 o'clock or something like that? Or does it have to be all the way in the front? Do you have enough room in there?
Yeah, you know what? It says that you can inside the waistband and outside the waistband carry. So if you had OWB, you could totally use that. Because that tank top and the outside shirt are separate. It's two different pieces.
Okay, and Amy, could you get to that if you were carrying inside the waistband, say that maybe just forward of your hip, like just forward to 3 o'clock?
I think if you were to size up, the holes on the tank top would allow you to still access if you were outside the waistband carrying or more strong side carrying. But it does work best if you're wearing it a little bit more, I guess, fitted. It would work best for appendix carry.
Mm-hmm. So my concern is that if you did do a 2, 3, or whatever, not something that's not so forward, would it snag on the clothing upon your draw? Could you see that happening?
I could. I think that with like any other holster and clothing, however way you're going to carry, I think practice with an unloaded gun.
Absolutely.
First to double check that. I think with a subcompact gun, if I personally was carrying more 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I feel like I could access it, but I've also, I would have trained. I think I have a little bit more training, so I definitely would push training and practice with this top.
Yeah, you'd always practice with any kind of concealment anyways, whether it's regular shirts or something that's meant for concealed carry like this. This is like a 2-piece, like I said. It's 2 pieces. It's a tank and a wrap. So, and when I first got it, I was like, why does this tank top have 2 slits in the stomach? I'm like, did they forget to sew it? And I'm like, oh, the firearm actually sticks out of the holes. And the wrap actually covers the firearm. So, really concealable, and it's very flattering. And you can dress it up. You can dress it down. So, men's out there, your wives, your girlfriends, whoever, think about
Both.
this shirt. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Never mind.
Okay. Who am I to judge, right? um, but think about this purchase for like Valentine's Day's coming up. This would be a great
that's
gift,
smart.
right? Like Laura would look fantastic in that.
Hey, now, what's the biggest size gun you can carry in that? Did you try, like, can you, like, what? Does it have to be a subcompact, or do you think you get a 19
No,
in there?
I don't think that you have to have anything super small because this will just drape over the gun itself. So I don't think you'd have to worry about it. I think anything, really.
Let's say, I think, can you make that a man wrap? Like, these come in extra large, double XL, whatever?
I would like to see you in that, Joe.
Yeah.
Looks comfortable.
We'll pay good money for it to see you in that. It comes in extra small to extra, extra large. So it comes in a variety of sizes, 100% made in the USA. And this shirt retails for $154.99. A little on the pricey side, but I would say that that's worth it because the material is fantastic. It's super soft. And like I said, you can dress it up. You can dress it down. Like, Amy, you would probably wear it with, what, leggings and boots or something? You know, have like a long necklace to dress it up. It's really pretty. Yeah. I mean, you're a little shorty, so we're going to have to tailor it to your waistline. But, yeah, it looks great on you. Yeah. So I think that this is one of those pieces that's going to be, you know, a piece that you're going to wear year round. Don't you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
It looks good too. I honestly, I think sometimes it's a little too easy to tell, like, concealment garments. I didn't know that at all. Like, when you've been wearing that through the whole time, and I wouldn't have guessed that. You said it was. I think you described it as stylish. I think that's very accurate. It's a totally good word.
I think you should get one for Laura.
Yeah, well,
Laura, I'm looking out for you.
Yeah,
This would look great on her. But
I'm
very
thinking
flattering.
about getting one for Joe. He seems really interested.
I think if you can get the camo with the Punisher skull on there or something, that'll work.
It's gonna be my Valentine's Day gift to you, Joe.
Yeah, so if you would like to get one, you can get them at Incognito Wear IX, IndiaXray.com.
What's the IX? It's not 9.
And that's what I'm assuming.
It's 9. You think it's 9?
I think so. Like I don't know what else it would be.
I don't know either.
Incognito 9.
It was on the promo page here, and I'm like, I gotta know Roman numerals to read a.
Do you remember your Roman numerals?
You know.
Is that what you were gonna say? IX.
I was like, yeah, 9? I was like, Jeez.
You got it right, though. You got it right.
Thank you, Melissa. It all looked Greek to me. Hey.
So thank you so much for being my model. Show that one again one more time and how that gun would normally sit outside of the slit. And this is going to be for a crossbody.
Not Melissa, have you been wearing this much? Or is this, like, did you actually try it out real world?
I tried it out.
And carried?
I don't carry appendix, so it didn't really work for me because I just have to lift up my shirt like a normal shirt. But for concealment and, like, not printing, it worked great. But for the purpose.
What'd you do? You go to the grocery store or just kind of wore it around the house? Or
I wore it around the house and nobody knew that I had anything on me because, like, I get teased a lot if I actually wear my gun in my house. I get ridiculed.
I just had this image of you and, like, all 5'11" out. You know? It's like, what? Well, I'm not carrying. You're carrying.
Right.
So now, what were you carrying? What were you packing what did you have in there?
I had my Shield 9.
Okay.
Can't tell a thing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'm not gonna be able to fit my
your CZ.
You know, I think it would fit, but I don't have a holster that goes, like, in that area. So
okay, so that's a good question. Does it come with a variety of holsters, or is it one size fits all? How does that work?
It doesn't come with a holster. It just comes as just a shirt to wear on the body that you just get your size, and then that hole will accommodate pretty much any gun because it's just a hole.
I see. So you're wearing the holster on your belt. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not part of the shirt. It's just
Jackson and I were just talking about. We couldn't figure it out. Now we get it.
Now you get it, Jackson? All right. You understand? Awesome. All right. If you would like to get one of these retail at $154.99. It's called the Lion and Lamb shirt by Incognito Wear. So you can get one at incognitowearix.com. Thank you so much, Amy, for modeling it for me. You look so good.
Awesome.
All right. Well, let's go ahead, take a break.
Yeah.
We're getting close to
Very
the top
nice.
of the hour. This is coming up next. What do you got? What do you got coming, Joe?
I've got Women on Target next. That's what I've got.
All right. Well, so nobody wrote it down, so I thought I'd at
Up
least
next,
give you a
Joe Drammissi to talk about Women on Target.
But first, PRMI Mortgage, primeres.com/alpine. Are you in the military? Are you looking for help for a VA loan? Well, if you're looking to buy, refi, or maybe you're considering a reverse mortgage, call our local mortgage guy that you can trust. Call Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. Call Chris Wiley at 619-722-1303 or just go to primeres.com/alpine. All right, Joe, what do you got?
So what I got is Women on Target today. So this is, what was our theme, is interacting with non-gun owners today.
Talking to people that don't have guns.
So I'm slightly ahead of my time here because I think next month is First Contact, right? Like the outer space kind of stuff. I thought First Contact was new gun owners or something.
I thought it was that movie with Jodie Foster. Wasn't that?
Was that First Contact? Yeah, see, I was
First
older. I was
Contact.
thinking of
We're
Richard
probably not going to
Dreyfuss.
spend a month on that. Oh.
But no, with
that was close. No, that was Close Encounters.
That was close.
Yeah.
So, Women on Target is a great program. The NRA sponsors this, and ranges and clubs and groups run these things all around the country. Up at Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club, we do 4 of these a year, and I was there this morning doing that all morning. So I thought, that'd be a good thing to talk about. Sort of close to our theme. So with Women on Target, and I'm not sure how long they've been doing it for a long time. Were they doing that when you were there, Michael?
Yeah, I really
Running
enjoyed
those?
it. When started working for San Diego County Gun Owners, I had to kind of stop doing that because we have our own programs. But I remember back at least 10 years. Dexter Haight was the guy that put it all together and made it happen. In fact,
Okay.
I think it started. I want to say it started in 2007. That's when I think it started.
Okay, yeah, I remember Dexter actually, and Sue, Eric and Sue Johnson run it now.
Yeah,
and but it's a great program, and what it is, if you haven't heard of this, it's geared toward it's all women, and they limit it to 45 women. It sells out each time they do it. We just did the one today. The next one's in April, which is sold out, and the one after that will be in July. But they limit it to 45 women, and what they do is they split them up into 3 groups, and you'll have a group that goes to the pistol area, a group will go to the rifle area, a group will go to the shotgun area, and then they match them up one-on-one with mentors, and they spend about 45 minutes or so shooting in each area, and it's really great. It's a lot of fun. The women, for the most part, are brand, well, you get a mix. You get some women that are brand new. They've never shot a gun before. You've got a lot of women who maybe shot years ago. Maybe their dads shot with them a little bit when they were growing up, and they haven't touched them in a long time. So you have people that are, have minimal exposure to that kind of stuff. And it's just, it's great to see them because it's a great way to interact with, like we were talking about, with non-gun owners, because a lot of them don't necessarily own guns, but they've developed an interest. And like we were talking about in the last segment, and we don't really there's not enough time to really get into, why are you here, or why did you get interested? But a lot of them, I believe, are interested in the, the self-defense aspect of it because of all the things that have been going on the last couple of years. And, Desi's there from Not Me SD.
Yep.
And she talks to each group about what Not Me SD is and what they have to offer. But it's fun because you get a mix of women. You'll get some that are, obviously pretty nervous. It's their first time with it. And like we were talking about a little bit earlier too, if you get people that are non-gun owners, they don't have family or friends or whatever that shoot, you have to remember what do they see? How do you learn about guns if you're in that situation? It's what you see on the media. It's what you see in movies, what you see on TV, and which means most of it's not right. And so a lot of them, we had one this morning because we, with the 3 groups, so you get to work with 3 different women, 3 different sessions. And we had the first woman we had was pretty nervous, noticeably nervous, and you could see how she was shooting. And then the two that we had after her were brand new shooters, but you didn't see that they weren't as skittish about it. I guess they were just a little more comfortable with it. And it's interesting because we'll typically start them off with a 22 and just walk them through it. And and then some of them, like the one woman we were just mentioning, pretty much stuck with the 22 for the whole 45 minutes. Others will move up to the 9mm. I always bring my Ruger GP 100, so I bring the revolver so they could try that out with 38 Special. And a lot of them like to try that stuff. We'll start with the targets at about 5 yards, and then there's steels at probably about 12 yards out or so, 12, 13 yards. That they can shoot at, and it's just a great experience. It's real similar to the shooting socials, I think, that we do, just a little bit more expanded. So the goal is probably to have a good first time shooting experience for them, and there's only so much you could teach. I don't know if there's much teaching really. It's just because how it is if you're new to guns. There's like 800 things you're trying to remember at the same time. So just focusing on the safety part of it, and just some basics with the grip and everything, and just having a good time, a good shooting experience.
I remember back when we were doing it one Sunday, we had 4 generations. We had a teen, and then her mom, and then her grandmother and her great grandmother. All 4 of them came out and shot. It was cool.
Yeah, and that's common. We see a lot of mother-daughter groups out there. And in fact, one of the women we worked with, because I was training 2 other mentors today, so I actually got to see 6 women. And the one older woman was everybody's older. Well, I say older because she was older than me, but
that's old.
She was probably around 80 or so, and she did really well. She shot the 22, and she was pretty good with it. She was hitting the steels with that, and she switched over, shot the 9mm for a little bit, then switched back. But we get women that age. We get women that are in their teens. So you get a whole mix of them, but it's fun interacting, I think, with new people like that, and just and giving them that experience. And how that is with the shooting socials. It's very similar, and
very rewarding.
And typically I'll work on the handgun side in the pistol pit, but I've done a couple of them over on the shotgun side, and I've seen the same thing. And it's funny when you see these older women with the 12 gauge shotgun, and they're knocking these clay pigeons out of the air. And it's just watching the excitement, because I see how excited Michael gets when he hits one of the clay pigeons
on the rare occasion. That is a showstopper, because it's you get to watch it explode.
And so those kinds of programs are great. And again, the NRA sponsors these things around the country, and they support these things. So it works kind of like a grant. You apply to them, and the NRA will support it with with ammunition and stuff like that. And like I said, it's a great program. It's a great way to interact with, like we're talking about, with non-gun owners, with people that are kind of interested, but they don't have any way to find out about that stuff. And having them find out about it in a good, safe, positive environment is just really good. They just do a great job with it. And Dave Reed is another one we talked about a little bit earlier. Dave Reed's a local instructor and does a lot of work with the Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club, and he does a lot of the safety briefs. And just the way they do it, it just makes it a real friendly environment. So great program.
Dave's a good dude. He runs that thing. It's a well-oiled machine down at Lemon Grove Rod and Gun. The whole range.
Thing.
The whole range.
Yeah. That's right. He is the chief range safety officer. Skateboard therapy to fight veteran suicide. Benjie Manibog is here from Thrash-N-Raid, and 6 Feet Above is in studio.
But first, American Shooter is the newest gun shop in San Diego and Gun Owners Radio's newest show sponsor. If you're looking for a great gun shop for any of your firearm needs, go visit American Shooters. Tell Ernie you heard about them on Gun Owners Radio. They have a great selection of new, used, and consigned firearms. Put it in your calendar right now, January 15th, for the grand opening celebration at American Shooters, 1464 Graves Avenue, the Bradley exit in El Cajon.
Okay, so last week we had a really fascinating interview with Angel Cortez, who we barely scratched the surface on his life. He was really, really fascinating. And we brought in a buddy of his, right? Benji, you guys are buds.
Yeah, Angel's a really good friend of mine. Super stoked to know him. He's been a huge blessing in my life and my family's life.
And your organization is Thrash-N-Raid?
Correct.
Talk about Thrash-N-Raid. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so Thrash-N-Raid, we're a skateboarding organization. Our mission is to help people rise above their barriers using skateboarding. Skateboarding's done a tremendous amount of positive things in my life. Just growing up as a punk kid, just addicted to drugs and alcohol, skateboarding was one of the outlets that was actually positive. Vice, all the other terrible things I did. I was addicted to meth and cocaine early on as a kid, and really skateboarding kind of pulled me out of that, as well as meeting my recruiter. And then when I decided to get out after spending 15 and a half years in the military in the special operations community, Thrash-N-Raid was a way for me to give back and just not just serve veterans, but also to serve the at-risk youth community. We donate a lot of our boards to the youth and to veterans and to other programs like that.
Okay, bunch of questions now. That's the whole. There's a bunch of questions. So let's start with let's actually go to your military career. So what did you do for the military?
I was a Marine Special Operator. It's a Marine Raider or Critical Skills Operator with Marine Corps Forces Special Operations Command, MARSOC.
How do you go from being addicted to meth and alcohol to enlisting in the Marine Corps?
Yes,
enlisting into the Marine Corps and going and successfully navigating MARSOC.
It was a change of mindset. Really, when I was growing up, I had a lot of very unfortunate things happen. And I'd say for a long time, I had the victim mentality. I said, man, look at all these bad things that are happening to me. Things that, choices that my parents made, that other family members made. I was living with different family members growing up and really just not taking accountability of my choices. I was doing terrible in school. And a lot of it was, I could have done the right thing, but made an excuse and said, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to choose to be an adolescent. Wasn't thinking about the future. And so it was kind of just out of nowhere. It was like a grace of God kind of thing. I was 18, going to continuation school because I got kicked out of normal high school. I had 9th grade credits as a 12th grader, and just going to this continuation school thinking I have no future. And I was living with my uncle who was addicted to meth at the time as well. And it was just something, I don't know what day, I can't pinpoint it, but I remember thinking I got to do something with my life. And I remember walking into a recruiting office, getting turned down by the Navy first, and then walking out and the Marine Corps recruiter swooped me up.
Why'd the Navy turn you down?
I think it's because I walked in there weighing 119 pounds, looking like a meth addict kid. And they're like, you got to clean yourself up before, you join. But then
the Marines said, we'll go ahead and clean you up for you.
You know what? And it's a good thing they did. And I think that Marine Corps recruiter, whether he was just looking for another number to put through or not, he made such a huge impact on my life because he said, hey, when you got to graduate high school first, so you're going to come in every single day after continuation school. You're going to do your homework here. We're going to get you set up. I'm going to get you a job. And he totally turned.
Your Marine Corps recruiter did that?
Yeah, he totally turned my life around.
Do you keep in touch with that guy?
I don't, not regularly. And he went on to, do his career in the military as well. And but
I think
you
that's
need to look him up.
I think that's above and beyond. I don't think recruiters usually do that.
No, definitely not. And I do talk to him every once in a while, and we keep in touch, especially on LinkedIn and on Facebook. But it's something that I don't know exactly what brought me into the office. Yeah. Everyone just, I don't know if it was a gradual thing, but I can't remember back then whether it's drugs or something else, but it just something clicked inside my head and said, I don't want to live this way anymore.
So in high school, I remember you in high school, not you specifically, but you listened to punk, right? Skateboard.
Had a ducktail.
A lot of, probably had crazy clothes and crazy hair and, right? You were that. And
blue and red hair. And
blue and red hair. Yeah. Didn't like me because I liked metal.
And you're chubby.
And
you were chubby.
Yeah. So, that's probably not there probably weren't a lot of people like you in MARSOC.
Well, actually, you'd be very surprised. We're a ragtag group of misfits, and I think there has to be a little bit of shadiness within all these people that work in special operations, because you work in a gray area where you're not just being told what to do, right? And I'm not saying the conventional forces just get told what to do and they follow orders,
But they do.
In a way. But on the special operations side, you have that freedom and that flexibility to think more critically and to have the freedom to make more decisions on your own as a small unit, right? And so in order to have that flexibility, some of the people have to be able to think outside the box, or just have a little bit more of a gray area type of mindset. And so you sometimes have some people in there that have had an interesting past, and I'm not going to say that they're doing shady stuff while they're in, but they come from an experience of knowing how to take risks, the calculated risks, and knowing that they could overcome and persevere through anything, right? And
that's an interesting perspective. So you're saying that maybe, you know, the straight-laced, gung-ho ROTC types probably stay in the conventional units, and you're a pirate, basically. Right?
Yeah.
the guys like you are probably attracted to a little bit more of the, you know, I don't know.
And you're
by
a
the seat of your pants.
You're a big fan of second lieutenants too, I bet.
Fortunately, there's no second lieutenants over at MARSOC.
Yeah, right.
Because you have to be a captain.
You would never have a second lieutenant at MARSOC. I'm telling you.
You got to be experienced to come over to MARSOC. We're one of the few branches that you can't just go right off the street into the special operations community. You have to serve a minimum of 4 years, and then you could join the special operations community.
So what attracted you? How did you end up? And you don't end up in MARSOC. How did you go full force towards MARSOC?
It was my after my third deployment, I was serving with a reconnaissance unit, and I just loved the camaraderie between those guys. And it was just, you could tell there's just a different caliber, a group of guys. You know, in the military, you have what we call the 10%, right? We have 10% of people that are studs, right? They're just absolute, just studs at what they do, physically, mentally, everything. And then you also have
me and Jackson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have 10% that are just total dirtbags, and you're like, why are you here, right? And then you have the rest of the general population. Well, at MARSOC, it seems like the general population are all in that 10% stud category. They're just a bunch of just high performers, high caliber individuals, and I wanted to be around that. I wanted to be the highly trained, highly skilled type of operator around other people.
Yeah, but you didn't sign up for it. You had to qualify.
Exactly.
And then how many people washed out when you tried to get in?
I mean, a ton. We go into this thing. You go to assessment and selection. There's several hundred people that do that. Out of selection, about 40 of us got selected. And then out of that, they make up a couple different selection classes, make up one individual training course, which is our 9-month long pipeline. And out of that, half those people don't make it. So it's a very small percentage of us, and you have to volunteer for it, and you have to meet those qualifications. But a big portion of it is the mental aspect, being able to overcome and persevere and rise above barriers. And I think people with a hard past, like myself and even Angel Cortez, just have been through a lot of adversity and have that resilience that you need as a special operator.
Well, and that mental part. So, you spent your teens, like you said, addicted, not interested in school. You turn things around, but next thing you know, it feels like you boom, now you're in this highly structured environment, even in the, do they call it boot camp in the Marine Corps? Okay,
recruit training, yeah.
Okay, so you're in recruit training, drill instructor, highly, there's no room for error. They're not there. There's no excuses. They don't, you know what I mean? They're not buying your BS. You got to perform. It must have been really difficult.
It was difficult at first, but at the same time, it's almost like you crave that. And especially as a young male that had no positive male role model up until my recruiter, I didn't have that person in my life that was just really mentoring me and showing me like how to be a man, right? And as a young male, you crave that, whether you know it or not, or at least I did.
The 1 week they shaved your head and threw you in, and then you went, "This is what I'm looking for."
Yeah. No,
Because you didn't have anybody telling you what to do when you were a kid. You were footloose and fancy free, and you were mad at the world, and right?
yeah, and I think it was just being around just other guys that just wanted to,
Like-minded.
just like-minded, that just wanted to do something bigger than themselves. And that's why I joined right when Iraq was, had kicked off, and I wanted to just do something for my country and do something bigger than myself.
So what did you do during your career? During your deployments, what kind of deployments were you on?
So I did two deployments to Iraq. Also went and served some time in the Horn of Africa, combating piracy out there. Spent time in Southeast Asia, and then my last deployment, I was in the Arabian Peninsula again, doing counterterrorism.
So there had to have been a first time you were not on a base. You had a gun in your hand, and you were about to go. There were people out there that wanted to cause harm. There had to be that first time. I'm assuming you remember that. Do you remember that first time?
Yeah, and I'd say when you're put in that situation, the Marine Corps does a very good job at training Marines. And I'm not saying the other branches don't, but I'd say the Marine Corps really emphasizes on immediate action drills and knowing and understanding just muscle memory, right? So that with something were to happen, that it's not that only you're competent and able to do so, but the people around you are competent and able to do so. And that's really one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to join the special operations community, is because when you're in the conventional side, you're like, I don't know if this guy to my left and right is gonna be able to do it because he's in that terrible 10%, right? But when you're at MARSOC, you know that everyone is high caliber.
Interesting. All right.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. This is... Oh, wait. Do I have to look for anything?
No.
We're going to keep you. We're proud to partner with the National Concealed Carry Association as a 10-ring partner. NCCA exists to serve the Second Amendment community by providing a nationwide network of 2A advocates. They offer elite self-defense and concealed carry training from the nation's top instructors, and they provide rock-bottom prices of the best selection of gear and accessories. Join them today. Members get great prices and free shipping. Learn more about them at nationalconcealedcarryassociation.com.
So, Benjie, we're going to talk about your organization and everything, but I got to tell you, your personal story continues to fascinate me. So, I promise we're going to talk about your organization because it's extremely fascinating too. But I want to keep going. So, you're in the Marine Corps. Were you a good Marine, like right off the bat?
When I decided to join the Marine Corps with my recruiter, I completely changed my mindset. So I said, if I'm going to go in and do this, I'm going to be the best possible Marine I could be. And I went from being that drug addicted adolescent punk kid to, graduating boot camp as the honor grad and with the highest physical fitness score out of everybody. And then every school I went to, I was either at the top of my class or at least, the top physical shape, or what we call the Gung Ho Award. So someone that just demonstrated just team building type of skills and someone that you'd want to be around.
So that's a broad term. You changed your mindset. What does that literally mean? What actually went on in your head?
So what went on in my head
and
was,
how did you make it go on in your head?
You know what,
that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's really, I'd say it's just an act of God, because I cannot pinpoint exactly what it was. I mean, I just remember there were certain moments during my childhood. I remember, and my wife today, she was a friend back then that I remember. She wasn't my girlfriend at the time, just a friend. And I remember she knows what it was like when I was getting off of meth, when I was trying to quit. And I remember being in my room, and it was her and another friend of mine. And my uncle just comes in real quick, hands me this paper towel that had a meth pipe wrapped in it. And it's like, oh, here, this is for you. And just leaves. And I just burst into tears, because here I was trying to turn my life around. And I wanted it so bad. Yeah. And I couldn't. And so it was just, I think I just wanted something else. I didn't want to see my life go down this dark hole. And so I said, I'm going to take personal responsibility of everything and be self-accountable, and really just be the exact opposite of who I was. And all my teachers growing up, I've had people tell my parents, my mom told me, they said that they would look her dead in the eye and they'd say, your son Benjie will never, ever amount to anything in life.
that's nice. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
I think I had those same teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Come to think of
Do
it.
you keep in contact with them?
No,
You should.
there's a few.
Send them
yeah.
this interview.
Yeah, there's a few.
So, did you get pushback from your slacker friends when you were trying to change your life?
You know, there's a few that were, but I still keep in contact with some that today are still consider some of my really good friends. My buddy Wyatt, we were in a band together,
I was
and
gonna say, have you saved any of them?
you know, I don't think I personally did, but they
You
all,
influenced it.
maybe to some, but some of them just some of them had harder stories than mine, and especially my buddy Wyatt. He changed his life around too, and he's just an amazing individual today as well. And it didn't take the military for that to happen. So there's hope for everybody, regardless of what situation
Right.
you're in. Doesn't matter what you did yesterday or today. It's who you're going to be tomorrow.
Mhm.
So you kind of alluded to it. I actually asked Angel the same question. Was there anything about your tough life growing up? You kind of said you did some criminal activity, and it wasn't just drugs. I mean, you sounded like you were a pretty rough kid.
Yeah. Mostly a lot of shoplifting, and when it comes to shoplifting, it was mostly alcohol. So we'd steal from liquor stores and grocery stores. We'd walk in with a cart and literally just pretend we were shopping and fill the entire cart, and then walk right out the door as if we belonged there.
They're doing that today.
Oh yeah,
It's okay today.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Now,
Well,
now it's trendy.
yeah, exactly, yeah. We did
So-
it before the hashtags.
So there wasn't a lot of violence. You weren't a violent, particularly.
No, most of the violent stuff that we did, it was just fights with other
Yeah.
other teams and stuff like that. I did end up having to go through like a 6-month program at my school because of some gang fight, but we weren't part of it. I just so happened to be in wrong place at the wrong time.
Right.
So the military's paying you to pull a trigger.
Mhm.
You're out there in a war zone, and then you become, arguably one of the. You're in a unit that's one of the most elite in the world's ever seen. Frankly, did that hard upbringing, did it help? You know what I mean? Did it work for you in any way?
Yeah, and I'd say it's just mainly just overcoming resilience and that stress inoculation. Like, especially even I'll go all the way back to boot camp. Like being yelled at
Mhm.
was not a big deal, and you could tell some people when they were getting yelled at first day boot camp, it's like they're freaking out. And I'm like, I've been yelled at my whole life and being called a piece of crap and all this other stuff.
At least,
Like-
he
like
at least he hasn't hit you.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, I'm it's not a big deal to me. And with MARSOC, it was just, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're around good guys, it's actually, you kind of almost like the stress, and you're like, I wish this would suck more, because and it's fun. It's, you're getting paid to do things that people pay to do, right? Like shoot guns and
Right.
jump out of airplanes and all this stuff. It's stressful, but it's also fun.
What was the most terrified you ever were?
Well, I got in a parachuting accident back in 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
Me and the sniper on our team, it was a jump where it was nighttime jump and just very bad conditions, and our chutes collided as we were making our final approach. And when you're that low, it's pretty scary, because if your reserve opens up, you don't have much time for that thing to actually fully open and be fully inflated to slow you down. So when it happened, it just all seemed to happen so fast. But I remember I pulled the reserve and we hit the ground, and he broke his tib and fib, and I ended up just hurting my rotary cuff and my back pretty bad. But that was probably one of the scariest moments. And ever since then, jumping, it was always expected of us. We had to jump quarterly, we had to jump regularly. And it was like, after that moment, jumping out of a plane was not enjoyable.
Was not jumping out of a plane was not enjoyable. That should be a T-shirt.
Yeah.
So what's crazy? I ask. I tend to ask. I think you might be the first MARSOC guy I've asked this question. But I asked SEALs and Green Berets that question. Like, what was the most terrifying thing? And to my knowledge, I believe they're all combat veterans. Anyway, it's never what you think. They're all like training, or like, one guy, he was a SEAL and they were learning how to use the rebreathers, and he got caught under the bridge, the Coronado Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
And thought he was going to die. It's never a guy with a gun was pointing it at me and wanted to take my life. It's always like, well, there's this parachute thing, this scuba diving thing.
It's because it seems
I think
like
that's a testament to you guys, is what I'm saying.
Well, a lot of it too is like when you're on deployment, you almost have the sense of like you're in control, right? Because it's not like when we were in Iraq or in Yemen or Somalia, some of these other places that I've been, you're the baddest dude there, right? It's not like World War II where you're fighting in pretty much almost equal foe, right? Like you're fighting the Nazis, you're fighting the Japanese Imperial Army back then. I mean, we were losing, I think, 5,000 people, 5,000 Marines first day at Iwo Jima, right? In the global war on terror, we were the baddest dudes out there. We owned the night. We had the night vision. We had the best equipment, and we're out there fighting. A lot of times, I mean, a lot of the insurgents, they're not dumb by any means. They're building, IEDs and they're using tactics against us, and they're smart people. But for the most part, you feel just that confidence. But when you're in training and some of these other scenarios where you're just out of your element and out of control, especially like if you're in a parachuting accident and you're relying on that equipment, or if you're in trapped underwater like that, that's scary.
That's crazy, man. You ever look back in your life and just go, what in the heck?
Yeah, there's times where I'm like, yeah, exactly.
What was I thinking?
So you said you were a Marine for 15. Well, you're always a Marine, right? I almost screwed up
Marine,
there.
always Marine,
I almost screwed up there. You were in the Marine Corps. You were active duty for 15 and a half years?
Yeah, 15 and a half.
Why did you leave at 15 and a half?
Well, it was actually very unexpected. I was planning on doing 20 years in. My wife ended up getting stage 5 kidney failure.
Oh.
So, and it's unfortunate. It runs in her family, and it hits them around their 30s. Her dad passed away from it. Her grandpa passed away from it. Her uncle has kidney failure as well. And so we're actually in need of a transplant right now too. So she's on the donor list. She's being seen at UCLA Medical Center right now, and that was kind of just that wake up call, like, oh my gosh, like I need to reprioritize everything in my life. I can't just be focused on the military. And I selfishly, I want to say selfishly, I've done so many unselfish things by joining the military and my time in service. But in a lot of ways, there was things like deployments and schools and things I went to during my time in the military that I didn't have to go on. And I have 4 kids also. We have 4 kids together.
You have 4 kids?
Yep.
Holy cow.
Yeah, my oldest, 13, a 10-year-old, 8-year-old, 3-year-old. And for especially my 13-year-old.
You are in that 10% stud.
Yeah.
Man. Good for you.
Yeah, well, she's the stud because she did all the stuff on her own while I was gone for most of my military career. I'd be home 2 months out of every year. And so she's stronger than most women I know, and I'm surprised that we're an anomaly too, because she stuck around with me after all that stress and everything I put her through. So
well, now you're hanging with her.
Yeah. What's her name?
Larissa.
Oh, good job, Larissa. If you're listening, fantastic. So you leave the Marine Corps. That had to be scary. Did you know what you were going to do, or what were your plans?
Yeah, I thought I knew what I was going to do. I decided, I was like, well, I need that job security, right? I didn't think I was going to get retirement because I was cutting my career short.
Yeah, actually, just pause for just a second. So you were a skater kid with multicolored hair, drinking and getting into fights. And now you got 4 kids, a wife, and you're worried about job security and thinking about your retirement.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And now you have black hair and you're a skater.
Yeah.
And you hang around
Just,
kids.
Well,
just
I used to have
15
blue
years
hair.
later.
I used to have blue hair a couple weeks ago, and I just recently dyed it back.
Did you ever think you were going to be that guy, though, worried about job security, retirement, and 4 kids?
No, not at all. I thought I was going to live fast and die young. And there's a joke that you either die a punk rock legend or you live long enough to wear one of those like scally cap looking. You always see at the punk rock shows. Yeah,
Right.
I have one. Yeah,
I bet.
All right. So I'm sorry. So you were thinking about, hey, I need job security, I need retirement. So what happened?
I was looking at some of the different 3-letter agencies. I was looking at law enforcement, border patrol, because I said, I carried a gun for a living for this long. Maybe I should get into something like that again. And border patrol was an awesome career choice because they do amazing things. And they have amazing benefits. And I had a lot of friends that go into border patrol, and they were telling me just how amazing their careers have been. So
we're not done with you. We're actually we're cleared the last segment. We're going to hold you for another segment.
Sounds good.
That's how. Yeah. So.
You're going to learn to skateboard?
No,
I brought one for him.
I tried way back in the day.
I should show you my skateboard. It's a 2x4 with a metal skate taken apart and screwed to both ends.
I'd like to try
my
that.
my skateboard would need to be like a flat bed, like a flat car, a train,
a
flat
fender,
car. Yeah,
a fender off a 41 Buick.
All right.
Probably my turn, huh?
Yeah.
I keep forgetting to turn the page, but that's okay. We live in a state where your self-defense rights are under attack. Let us be your voice to help defend and restore the Second Amendment. Help spread the word about the fight. There's 2 easy things that you can do. 1, like and subscribe to the show on YouTube and your favorite podcast app. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It also helps boost the show and puts a whole lot of people in front of more people that we need to have in front of us. So we're going to 86 stumping your nephew.
Yeah, stump my nephew. He's going to take a week off. So
Gave him the day off again.
That's right. He's going to start to get spoiled, so we can continue talking to Benjie.
Yeah.
So what did you do after you were talking about how you were looking at the Border Patrol?
Yeah. So I was looking at Border Patrol, had actually went through the whole hiring process, got hired, had my class date set up. And it was during that whole time I was going through that process that some random Marine reached out to me and said, hey, there's this program at USC, this and this, and he's pushing it really hard. And I thought he worked for USC. I'm like, who is this guy, right? And turns out, he's just he was a student there, and he was just talking about how amazing their program was. And it was the Master's in Business program for veterans. And so I learned about this program, attended a class with him just to see it. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I held off on Border Patrol and said, let me go get my master's first.
Let me go get my master's in business from
Well,
USC.
it's down at the store.
Yeah, just hold
Third
on a sec.
shelf up to the left.
Let's push the pause button.
Yeah. Well,
when did you graduate with? Do you have your master's?
Yeah, so I have my master's from USC now, but I got my
When did you graduate?
2020.
2020. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I didn't have an actual graduation. We had the virtual graduation.
The CEO of our company, her name's Wendy Hoffman. She was a year behind you at USC getting her master's.
Oh, right
in
on.
Business.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's an amazing school, amazing program. They're super veteran friendly, and right now there's no other program like that in any other college or any other campus besides USC. So it's an amazing program, and I found out about the program, attended it, and when I remember talking to Lawrence, to that vet, I said, hey, is there something I could do for you? Because you helped me with this transition and coming into this. And he said, you know what you could do for me? If there's a veteran that needs help them also.
Wow.
And so it was just amazing.
So where did you go from there? You have your MBA.
Yeah.
Where'd you go from there?
So from while I was at school, that program really emphasizes a lot on entrepreneurship. They teach people how to be great entrepreneurs and to help other companies, but they really focus on entrepreneurship and what veterans could do out there and creating their own things and making an impact. And so with me, I remember thinking, well, what do I want to do? I want to use my personal why to help other people, and that's to help illuminate the hearts of others so they may rise above barriers. That's my personal why. And I got that.
You want to say that again?
It's to illuminate the hearts of others so they may rise above barriers.
Is that something you came up with, or tell me about that?
I came up with that after going through this other program called the Honor Foundation, and it's a 16-week transition program for special operators. So as special operators are getting out, they have this opportunity to attend this program called the Honor Foundation. And it's unlike any other program that, DOD offers. Most people, when they get out, their transition class is like 3 or 4 days of like, here's how to write a resume, here's how to do an interview.
Yeah.
Now,
here's how to buy a suit.
Don't let the door hit your ass, right? And so for us, I had 16 weeks of prepping and understanding just how to talk about myself and share my story. And for most special operators and for most just anyone in the military, it's hard to just talk about yourself and talk about your career, because you just don't, right? And so I was able to go attend that program and then discover just a lot about myself and what drives me. And for me, it was just helping other people.
And that's when you started Thrash-N-Raid?
Correct.
And tell us about Thrash-N-Raid. First off, is that the logo on your shirt?
Yeah, so this is the logo. It's the MP5. Yeah.
It's an MP5?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a suppressed MP5.
California legal. It's on the roster.
Yeah.
And it's it kind of vaguely looks
like an in and out
kind of color scheme. So that's the logo, the gun?
Yeah, correct.
Wow.
Yeah,
and you weren't worried about that?
I was, but at the same time, I wanted to be myself for once. Just be able to do exactly what I wanted to do.
Right back to the blue and red hair.
But the thing is, I wanted to combine both worlds, and growing up in California, I loved In-N-Out and I loved just skateboarding. And then just from my military side, I learned how, in the military, that was the first time I ever shot a weapon at all. And I fell in love with gun culture, and with also just that brotherhood in the veteran community, what that's all about as well.
You shoot a lot?
I do, but mostly for work. I also work with Defense Strategies Group with Angel, and we train different various clients on shooting and other survival techniques.
Wow. So what's the website for Defense Strategy Group?
Should be defensestrategiesgroup.com.
defensestrategiesgroup.com. Cool.
Correct.
So
Is
training
that
in
the one in
Orange.
Kearney Mesa, right next to the Studio Diner?
Nope.
No.
No.
Okay.
Los Angeles based.
Yeah, LA up kind of well, Orange County too,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
We're close to Orange County.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does Thrash-N-Raid do?
So Thrash-N-Raid, we design and create skateboards and apparel for skateboarding, and its big theme influence is military and just that gun type of culture, right? So a lot of people that buy our apparel and our decks are veterans, law enforcement, and people that enjoy their Second Amendment rights. And we did get a ton of pushback by the skateboarding industry, because the skateboarding industry is very diverse, but in a lot of ways, guns were not something that's
Chickens.
right.
What a bunch of chickens. Well, they talk big about graffiti and other being rebels or whatever, but no, we're a little afraid if you're going to have a gun logo.
We had people reach out to us like early on, and I mean, I'm talking messages after messages on Instagram and stuff that said, stay out of the industry. Do not
Really?
there's no place in the skateboarding industry for military, for veterans, for law enforcement, for guns, for none of that. And I was getting all this hate, but what that did for me,
I can't wait to hear it.
I was like, well,
Here
I'm
we
just gonna
go.
go.
I'm definitely going to do it.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna push,
good for you.
yeah. And we grew so quickly. We've only been a company for a year and a half now, and we're almost 18,000 followers on Instagram. We've done a ton of in-person events. We do a lot for the community, and I think that's what helped us grow.
All right, I got to figure out. We got to do something to promote you guys here in San Diego. San Diego County gun owners and Orange County gun owners. I love that attitude.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. That's
So what happened when you went in and out? Did they say anything?
No, actually, no, nothing. And
Nothing
we're-
yet, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you can't copyright a color.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else do you guys do with Thrash-N-Raid? Talk more about, because I think there's some you guys work on like the problem of veteran suicide.
Yeah. So with veterans, we give back to a lot of just veteran groups and also at-risk youth groups. So a lot of the proceeds go towards giving decks to kids, and especially in at-risk youth type of
And
communities.
when you say a deck, for people that are listening on the radio, a deck is the actual base of a skateboard.
Yeah, so it's the wooden
Right.
board that
Without
you actually
the
ride
trucks.
without the trucks, without all that. And so we give a lot of these decks away. This last Christmas, we held an event out in Prince Park in Oceanside, and we called it Princemas. And this is the second year that we've been involved with it. And we gave over 100 skateboards away to kids.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Action Jackson here into skateboarding.
Oh yeah,
He's worried. Tell him what you were worried about though. You don't want to break what?
My neck or fracture anything.
He doesn't want to break his neck. What advice do you have for 8-year-olds who don't want to break their neck or fracture anything?
It's just there's a fear and confidence scale, and it's just to ease into it. Just get comfortable riding around. If you just try to rush into it,
And wear safety gear. Wear your
exactly.
elbow pads, your
Wear your
knee
helmet.
pads, your helmet.
Well, Jackson goes shooting once a week. He shoot. What do you tell him what you shoot? What's your gun?
I am currently shooting a Glock 9mm pistol.
So maybe you could teach him a little how to be a better, shooter with a pistol, and he could maybe teach you how to
Skateboard.
I'd love that.
That'd be awesome, right? Or maybe you guys could combine the two and come up with a new sport where you're shooting your Glock while riding a skateboard.
Easy, Mike. You're going over the top.
You're going over the top.
Yeah,
Hey,
you're
that-
going over the top. Yeah. Don't get him started. That's all.
It could be a new Olympic sport. Right?
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
whole new biathlon.
Yeah.
Skateboarding and shooting.
Yeah, right.
Well, so that's awesome. So talk a little bit. What can we do to support Thrash-N-Raid? What's something that's coming up? What direction are you guys going with Thrash-N-Raid?
Yeah, so one of the things that we did last year, and especially it was during a time when not a lot of people were getting out of the house because of all the government lockdowns and everything else. And the skateboarding industry has been pretty good out here about saying, screw it. We're just going to host these events. We're going to get people together, keep them connected. And that's what we did. We hosted about 20 events last year. And our biggest one was Shred the Trend. which raises awareness on veteran suicide. And we're going to be doing that again in June. It'll be June 4th, and we don't have the exact location yet. We're hoping to do it at the one we did last year in Paula. But what that does is it raises funds for the nonprofit 6 Feet Above, which I'm a part of as well.
What's 6 Feet Above?
So 6 Feet Above is a 501c3 charitable organization that connects and supports veterans to skateboarding as a way to use it as a therapy to reduce stress and anxiety and symptoms of post-traumatic stress.
Benjie, you're awesome, man. You and Angel, I'm so glad.
Yeah,
Is our executive director for Orange County Gun Owners hooked us up with you guys. Steve Mills, you know Steve?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great guy. So glad he did. You guys are fascinating. I definitely want to continue to do more with you guys. I could seriously sit here and talk to you for about another 3 hours. But give your website so people can.
Yeah, if you want to get a skateboard or apparel, it's Thrash-N-Raid.com, and that's Thrash-N-Raid.com. And then for donating to 6 Feet Above, we are 501c3, so it's tax deductible, and that's 6feetabove.org. And 6 is spelled out S-I-X, and then feet. Org. Yeah.
Yeah. That was easy for you to
say.
Do you and Angel ever get into it over who's better, Marsoc or?
Oh, here we go.
No, Angel and I are great friends. I'm a better skater though. I beat him in skates. So.
All right, folks, that was Gun Owners Radio. Bob Siegel's in the wings. Don't touch that dial. This is FM 96.1 AM 1170.